Hello YouTube, here I am again. So this video is going to be another one on my 98 Wrangler TJ. And I'm going to finally replace the stock upper control arms, which are original to the car. It's only got 111,000 miles on the Jeep, but you know, the bushings are shrunk. But the bigger problem is that it's got an older 3-inch lift on it with 33-inch tires. And in fact, I plan on going with some 35s and a bigger lift pretty soon. But the pinion angle is all whack from that 3-inch lift on the front axle. What happens is it's taking my my caster angle and putting my caster angle too low, and so it's real sketchy and trippy on the faster I go, especially the highways. Just a little bit of movement and it kind of jerks around. So I want to get some more caster angle dialed into that front end so it'll be a little more pleasant to drive on the highway. I've got some Savvy control arms. I picked them up in person in Corona. Real nice guys at that shop. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this for a second so I can reverse it and show you the parts I'm going to install.
Hey, what's going on? So I'm sitting on my couch relaxing. Kind of a slow day for me, and I'm about ready to go ahead and edit up this video. And Apollo, no. And put it up on YouTube. So, as far as the whole bushing removal part goes, I'm going to leave that in there because it kind of turns into comedy hour. So this may or may not be the best video to show you how to remove a bushing, but it's kind of funny to watch me struggle doing it. That really sucked bad. I won't lie. Maximum Motorsports is a Mustang webpage that sells a lot of Fox Body and SN95 Mustang suspension parts. Now, they actually sell a bushing tool that's designed specifically to remove this type of bushing from a Mustang 8.8 housing. I've had a friend who said that he used it successfully on a GM A-body, I think they are, Chevelle, 6970 type Chevelle, and it pushed out those too. So I don't know. It might be worth buying that tool from Maximum Motorsports and seeing if that tool works on the Dana 30 as well. Eventually, I'm going to try it when we do my brother's Jeep. But I figured I'd throw that in here for now if somebody out there wants to try that tool for their Jeep as well. So enjoy. This turned out really well. My Jeep drives wonderful. It was definitely a little bit of work to get this in. I won't lie. This is a bit of a project because of the bushings.
All right, here we go. So these are brand new. And like I said, I picked them up from the shop in person. These are for the fronts. All right. And I got a couple for the rear. They're used, but very good shape. So I'm going to install those. I also have a digital angle finder that I'm going to use to be setting pinion on that front axle. And I just picked up some Moog stock replacement bushings for the rear end. Well, I should say the front differential. So those are going to be probably the most fun on this whole install. If you're getting those out, it's horrible. I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to show you as far as pinion angle. Like I mentioned, it's only got a 3-inch lift. Oh, by the way, sneak peek, future build, Arizona Highway Patrol Mustang. What a good score, huh? It's a roller right now. Anyway, sorry, back to the point. Even with the 3-inch lift, it's got a wicked pinion angle on the front of this thing, and it steers kind of sketchy because of that. So it's kind of hard to see there, but that front axle is actually rotated higher than the, and I've checked the angles with the angle finder, than the drive shaft there, you know, by a few degrees. And so by swapping out my old stock uppers, I should be able to get that axle rotated down, and which will increase my positive caster, which will make it a lot more friendly to drive on the highway. So I'm not going to finish this today, obviously, but I'm going to start on it. So getting the control off, arm shut off, should be the easy part. I'm not going to remove the front springs or any of that kind of stuff. So we'll see how that goes. Here we are. Being that I'm in California, there's no such thing as rust out here. So this part may be the most difficult part for your guys' job, but I have pre-lubed the bolts front and back with some penetrating oil. We're going to pull off the nut from this side, okay, which is a 15 mil. I don't know how much torque. And then that side, we're going to pull that off. So you really don't need to see me ratchet this, but let's go one-handed and see how much torque is on. Now I might need a deep. No. That's not that bad. Not too much torque. Doable. I'm going to come back and I'm only going to do one shot at a time. Because if I remove both, then my whole axle might pivot. I don't want that. Well, this is a crappy design. So this keeps spinning. As you can see, it's on its way around again. I may have to jack it up and pull that tire off, which I really did not want to do, and hit it with an impact from the other side of that spring and a few extensions. I want to see right now if I can't jam a screwdriver in here first to keep that thing from spinning. This sucks. All right, so we are loose. I just shoved the screwdriver in it and just held it down with my hand and it came loose. But I'll be honest, those of you with rust issues are going to have some serious issues on this. I would probably, if you're rusted, I would probably come in here with a cutoff wheel and maybe just grind this whole lock tab off. Or it might be just as easy to come in here with a Sawzall and just cut right through the center of the thing so you can pull the bolts out. You're not going to reuse the sleeve, the bushing, or the control arm, or the hardware, right? So whatever you got to do to get this stupid thing apart. All right, there we go. So this is out, right? And I'm just going to tap this bolt out with my bad hand. Or should I say my... Well, you get the idea. And then this one was significantly easier because that lock tab is a significantly better design. But it might make it a little harder to cut through it because you've got that lock tab that might not come out. But there is, you'll have to excuse the upside down here. But if you got to get a torch in it, there's a hole right here in the frame where you could probably put a torch in it to get some heat on this to help loosen up the lock tab. But this one was a lot easier than the front. So I'm going to pull that bolt out, pull that out, and then my control arm should basically uninstall itself, right? Bushings has shrunk quite a bit. They weren't even touching the frame anymore. It's going to be nice to get rid of these old stamped steel units. So this is going to be the fun part, getting this old bushing out of the frame. I'm going to try using a ball joint press, like what they say on the YouTube, right, and the Google. So I'm going to try that first. I might try a torch and burning it out, but we'll get this out together. It's too bad that bushing has to be replaced, otherwise I'd be in the middle of putting my new control arms back on. All right, so I've got this pretty close to being about the same length as the originals. If you're off by a bit, not a big deal, as long as you can get them in, right? So rather than count the twists, I went ahead and measured the gaps on either end. Mine, I put about an inch gap on either side. The adjustment rod is definitely, doesn't have to be rocket science. It's definitely in the middle where it's got plenty of adjustment room. Now I'm going to take this, and this is a little more critical, is to make this one and this one the exact same length. So I'll measure from the center point of each hole to, maybe not the bolt because that can get cocked. I'm going to measure from here to the base of the gold. So from flange to flange, flange to flange. So I'm going to make sure that these two are exact on the same length. All right, back at it. So decided to drill a whole bunch of holes all around the circumference of this, which will pretty much decimate the bushing inside of it, and then use a punch and punch the sleeve out going that way. I'll probably need a ball joint press to get it back in. No turning back now. methods. Much area to get a damn camera in here. All right, so I've pretty much decimated this thing with a drill. Let's see how this comes. Okay, need a little more work. Okay, GM hub spindle nut socket for the win, and C-clamp. Let's see what happens here. Looks like it's going in. Indeed it is. All right. Progress. These bushings are no joke, man. A drill and a sawzall later, I got the damn center part out of this thing. God damn! Now for the hard part. Get that thing out. Oh boy. This has proven to be a major pain in the ass. I was able to get it started a little with the sawzall. Cut into the bracket there a little bit, but it's not a big deal. You just have to peel it back a little bit and hit it with a dang punch and a sledge. You know, it's like, sheesh. That was really not fun at all. There's nothing pretty about how this came out. And really, I just had to get screwdrivers in and pry the lip back and use a punch and hit it and hammer it. And in the end, I boogered up my surface a little bit. Nothing a flat file won't fix. So, oh my God, that was hell. Wow. Oh my God. And I've only got one side down. I'm not sure this is gonna help, but I've greased up the outside of the bearing. And it is flanged up at the top where my thumb is at. So it goes in that far. Okay, I'm going to use an old bearing race on the seal, and then basically a bearing driver to try tapping that in with a hammer. If it doesn't go in, then I'll have to get a bearing press. Well, look at that. That actually tapped right in. I'm pretty happy about that. Trying to get you a good angle here. That was actually very easy. Oh, there's just no good angle to see this. Okay, here we go. So you see how the rubber part sticks out a bit? That's why I used a bearing race, so that I don't pound the rubber through. And then I just went like that and then tapped it right in with a hammer. Grease made it slide right in. Now I get to hook up my upper control arm, torque that down, and then start on what looks like might be the fun side. Hopefully I don't have to disconnect this to get to everything. Hopefully, we'll see. Well, I have definitely made a mess, but I have learned a lot on the way. It is in, it is not torqued down. I found it easier to get this end on first. and then work on the far end closer to the back of the vehicle. So they look great. Now, in order to get this in, I found that adjusting them both identical on top of the car before you install it is kind of irrelevant, because they're going to be off when you come under here. So bring the control arms under here, and then you can lengthen or shorten this as needed to fit through the holes in the frame. And then what we'll do is the exact same thing on the other side. They might be unequal lengths, but we can adjust this after they're both installed, and at that point then we'll measure each one to make sure they're both exactly the same when they're installed on the car. Then when we come to adjusting the pinion, I'll put like a scribe on each one, or a permanent marker or whatnot, so that we can turn each one exactly the same amount of times to keep them the same length. So for now, just put them on so they fit, and we've got pretty much in the middle of the thread travel on both of them. So we're good on this side. I'm very excited. Here's the other bushing up here. So it's actually not in horrible shape, although I do see the beginning stages of a rip. You can see down there towards the bottom. Also on that side, beginning stages of deterioration. So it definitely needs to be replaced, although it's definitely not bad yet. So I'm trying something a little unconventional. My two-jaw puller. Oh, it's on the wrong lip. Damn it. God damn. Fuck, there goes my air connection. Dude, I'm in. And it's midnight. I'm making so much noise. That's it. I'm in all the way. It's supposed to be just like that. I gotta fix some ARB connection, but that's okay. I need a new compressor anyway, so I'm gonna go through my whole system. Hell yeah, what a contraption to get this thing together. A little bit of ingenuity and skill, and a little bit of midnight fever wrenching, and I'm good to go, baby. All right, well, back to the bushing. You saw me press it in with a couple of makeshift tools. Just a bearing separator kit, Harbor Freight or wherever. That got it in. But to get it out, I just used the punch, tapped on that ridge, well, more than tapped, and then just like on the other end, I used the punch from the backside with a screwdriver to pull the lip back so I could punch it out. A lot of work. So here we go. We're gonna put the new one in. I'm getting very close to adjusting it. All right, we have reached a very exciting time here. All right, that doesn't get you any angle. There is the second one. Looks great. So I did have to adjust it out again, just like the other one, to fit this. All right, here's the other one. So 55 foot-pounds is the stock TJ torque setting, and that's what worked perfect for these two. I looked it up on the Google, and I'm very excited. These are the Savvy upper control arms, and this is it's the metal cloak bar. Oh, how cute. I should lock that in. So anyhow, here I go. What I'm going to do is go from, I'm gonna go on the other side. I'm gonna try to go from the center point of the bolt to the center point of the bolt on each side and measure and make them exact same length before I start adjusting. So that's next. All right, so I am no expert with pinion angle, but I have done a lot of reading. Okay, you can see the angle. This is up a lot more than the dry shaft is. Okay, we're reading it right at 5.5 degrees on the dry shaft angle. Now when you come to the front here, okay, I'm reading right around almost 10. It was 10 earlier. You know, there we go, whatever, 10. So in order to bring this, and I'll clarify by the end, we want the dry shaft and the front pinion to be about equal. So I want to bring this right about right there. I hear you might want to dial in a bit just to get the U-joints working to keep them lubricated, but bringing this down will tilt the whole axle back down, and thereby increasing my caster, which is what I wanted to do in the first place, which should give me a lot better high speed handling. These are the flat spots on your Dana 30 to test for your angle. This is just a magnetic thing, right? But, you know, in order to do it properly. So there we go. So the next thing I have done is taken exactly in line with the bleeder on both. I've put a black stripe. Now, when I measured from bolt to bolt, I think mine were exactly 15.25 inch long. Both of them were. So I didn't have to fine tune it any further. So now that these are both the same, I'm going to bring them in to bring this rear end down. And while I do that, that should pivot the rear end down. And if I think I got to go kind of clockwise on these, right? But these are double adjustable, so all I have to do is turn this sleeve right here. You know, just turn this. And if I turn this 3 times, then I'm going to turn the other side exactly 3 times also, so I keep it equal. And then I'm going to watch my pinion angle as I do that. Fantastic news. I'm using channel locks and a rag, and it does scratch up the surface a little bit, but I rotated them clockwise as I'm laying on my back facing the front of the car. And I was at 10. Now, with one rotation, I'm at 9.2. So that tells me I need to go, well, a bunch of rotations. So I think I'm going to try 1 or 2 more each per side. All right, I am very excited. So my dry shaft angle changed slightly. It's 5.9. If you look here, I rotated it clockwise 4 times. That is almost perfectly straight now. I'm going to hit the Google and I'm going to search and see exactly where I want it at. 4 times. Brought it down to 5.8, 5.7. So we are pretty much perfectly level. So I'm going to see if I want to dial in like 1/2 degree of angle difference between these two. We'll see. I'm very excited. I'm not pleased at marking these up slightly to turn them with the vice grips. That's kind of a pisser, but you know, whatever. I'll have to look in the future to see what people do to avoid that. It's a Jeep, you know, so, but it would be nice if there was a notch in here for a wrench, you know, but I mean, what can you do? So very, very excited. This should give me tremendously more count. Come here. Arr! That's okay. Very first drive since I've changed my caster and pinion angle. Don't know what to expect. It could get vibration. It could get death wobble. I don't think. I still have a little bit more fine tuning to do, but I'm only going a couple miles down the street. So let's see what it's like. I don't know if we're gonna notice anything going 25 miles an hour. Ooh, it seems to steer differently. It's hard to explain. Yeah, it is different. It's not on edge nearly as much as it was. You know, it seemed kind of high strung before once you start moving. See if I get any vibrations. Oh yeah, that's definitely better. That's 50. Super smooth. Much more relaxed. Speedo's about 5 miles fast. Let's see how it is. Oh wow. This transformed the entire Jeep. That is stunning, and I don't even have my front sway bar connected. Stunning! Much less high strung. I don't feel like I'm gonna die with the slightest twitch of the steering wheel now. Still drives like a Jeep, but this is night and day. All right, so let's see the final angle on this. Ow. Much better. I've got the pinion slightly below the angle of the drive shaft, I believe. Pinion is at, or maybe above, I mean, it's at 6.4, and the drive shaft is at 5.9. So I'm happy with the results. It steers and drives fantastic. Great mod. So next I'll be doing the rears. That's not as critical though, because there's no vibration back there.